Because there's elk on that
there's just a
trail.
wild elk.
Yeah. There's
You
elk.
weren't afraid.
Okay, hello, everybody. Good evening. We're going to convene to open session and call to order at 6:01 p.m. And please be advised that this meeting is being recorded, capturing both images and audio. And oh, that echoes strange.
I'm gonna mute that.
Or maybe close the door.
Is that it? So item 4.2, report of actions taken in closed session. There were none. 4.3, attendance roll call. President Rothberg Allen will be here late. Clerk Reed, acting president for the moment, is here. Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
Trustee Lopez Jones.
Here.
Trustee Rios.
Here.
And Student Representative Clavel.
She is absent.
Okay, that's too bad. Okay, and now item 4.4, Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic which stands one nation under indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four 4.5, the district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. Item 5, public comments. Public business from the floor on non-agenda items. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Do we have any public comments tonight? There's the podium.
Where is she going?
Good evening. My name is Iris Lopez Ortega, and I'm here as a member of the community. I'm not representing the city council at the moment, but I just want to share with you my thoughts regarding all the fear, all the anxiety, and all the rumors that they're being, around the community regarding our new administration at the federal level. I just want to encourage each and one of you to listen to the community, to listen to their fears, to tell them, that there are many resources available, that this is not the end of the world, and in the worst case, there are resources there available to help them. There is a 1-800 number that in case any person gets approached by ICE, there is a network already working. There is a 800 number that they can call. And also we have here the Ad Valley Family Centers where they can reach to them for support and direction on what to do. Also, last Friday, I attended a meeting, a network meeting with different levels of representatives in the county, and we are all on the same term. We are here to protect our community, and we're gonna work together. So any questions, if you have somebody who has a question, please send them to the Family Center, to our chief of police, or to myself, and we are here to support. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that comment. Thank you. Any other public comment? So item 6, information and discussion. 6.1, board policies and administrative regulations, first reading.
Okay, good evening. We've got some, these are updates to existing board policies. And I'll just give you a brief summary. There's an update to the lactation accommodations policy. There's already one in place, but there are some updates as a result of SB 142, the Pump Act, as well as the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. And it just expands upon the already existing accommodations that are in place. We have Title IX policies. We continue to update Title IX policies as a result of updates to federal regulations published in 2024. And there are some updates to the non-discrimination harassment policies. This is AB 1078 updates to Education Code 2341. And it expands the definition of harassment, mandates inclusive curriculum. It also expands the district's purview to off-campus behavior. Should off-campus behavior constitute harassment, which creates a hostile environment on a school campus, it then becomes school purview. So these are the updates for first read, and then we'll have comment and period of comment, and then we'll bring them back next month for approval.
Great, thank you, Michael. Any questions? Okay, that brings us to item 7, reports. And the first is from our student representative. Would you like to read it, or will someone?
Yes, I will read it for her. She has a prior engagement tonight since it's not a normal board meeting evening. She says, "Dear board members, as we transition into the new year, students are settling into the second semester and adjusting to the rhythm of school once again. After the winter break, many have refocused their efforts, and there's a renewed energy around campus as we head into 2025. Winter sports are in full swing with both the boys and girls basketball teams gearing up for the rest of their seasons. Our athletes have been working hard, and we're eager to see their continued progress on the court. We encourage the community to support our teams as they head into league play and beyond. For seniors, the college application process is reaching its critical point. Many students are focusing on finalizing applications for private schools, out-of-state universities, and various scholarship opportunities. It's a challenging time, but the dedication our senior class has shown is truly inspiring. As they continue to navigate this important process, we're excited to see where their hard work will take them in the coming months. Thank you for your continued support of our school community. As we adjust to the new semester, we look forward to the achievements and opportunities that lie ahead for all of our students."
Great. Well, thanks to Kenya for submitting that report, and thank you, Dr. Pittman, for reading it. 7.2, Calistoga Associated Teachers, Mr. Godinez.
Okay, is this on? Yep. Turn this on as well. Okay, so first thing I wanted to say, we have a couple new leaders that we've selected. So we have a newly elected vice president, Eric Heights, at the junior senior high school. And we've also appointed Jeannie Heck as a site representative for that school as well. So those are 2 new leadership positions. But we did also want to present just kind of all our concerns and data around where we're coming from with the dual immersion thing, just to give a fuller understanding. Because while we appreciate that a forum was provided to discuss it, there was far too little time to truly share our concerns and the reasons behind them. And it's become clear that we need to do a much more thorough explanation. When we hear statements claiming that the only reason we have concerns is because change is scary or change is hard, that shows a lack of understanding of the situation. Our concerns have nothing to do with change and everything to do with caring about students. As we previously stated, we believe that cross-cultural learning and appreciation is important, and that knowing more than one language is a real asset. We've also acknowledged that dual immersion programs have been effective in some scenarios. However, I'd like to give a detailed overview of the variety of concerns that have been raised by teachers to really clarify our stance and how it's driven by doing whatever we can to benefit kids and their futures. I'm sorry that I won't be repeating this report in Spanish, but you can find a translation as well as all these data and resources and sources cited on our website at calistogaassociatedteachers.org. Lo siento que no puedo repetir este informe en español, pero puede encontrar una traducción en nuestro sitio web en calistogaassociatedteachers.org. There was a question raised as to why we mentioned schools like Healdsburg and St. Helena instead of other schools like the ones that have been mentioned in board meetings, such as Cali, Calmecac, and Windsor, James Monroe, and Garden Grove, or schools in Westminster. The reason for this is because those schools are not like ours. Those dual immersion programs do not operate as a strand within the only local school in a small community district. Those examples are entire schools built around dual immersion. They're optional to attend and are just one of many schools in the district. There are 6 schools in Windsor, 17 in Westminster, and 48 in Garden Grove. In those districts, 1 or 2 dual immersion schools means that only 4 to 17% of their schools have been converted to dual immersion. In Calistoga, the proposal is to convert 100% of our schools. We've asked for examples of where this has been done successfully in California, and nobody has given one. Without an example of success in a scenario like ours, this basically equates to a 14-year-long experiment with the lives and futures of children at stake. The closest examples we can find, other than Calistoga's own prior attempts at bilingual education twice in our past, are Healdsburg and St. Helena, where issues arose showing that splitting a small local school can result in problems of inequity, division, or even segregation. We've not been told how equity or representation of our student population would be ensured in the program. We've been told that anybody who wants to join the dual immersion program may do so, but this itself can create a self-selection bias that leads to inequity. Calistoga teachers believe in inequity, we believe in equity, and in representation. We also know that many dual immersion programs that continue into middle school and beyond result in tracking of students in the dual language cohorts. This means the kids do not end up mixing with other students in school classes, and in most cases, their opportunities for taking electives end up being reduced as well, since 1 or 2 course periods are required for classes like Spanish. This would limit opportunities for things like music and art, for example. Calistoga schools have been able to achieve great success by having research-proven strategies that work, including small class sizes and targeted interventions. We're worried about how these will be impacted if dual immersion is adopted. We've been told that a dual immersion program could attract more students to apply to our schools. If this causes class sizes to increase, research shows that larger classes cause lower student engagement, lower test scores, and more behavior problems. And as a basic aid school, we don't get additional funding for that either. We have concerns about impacts to academic proficiency and test scores if we adopt dual immersion. And we're particularly thinking about students who have ever been identified as English learners, which according to CAST data is 77% of our student population. We've been told that test scores could in fact go down in the elementary grades. This would go directly against meeting our benchmarks for goal number 1 in our local control accountability plan, which includes growth goals in both the state test and the local MAP tests. And here's some data. According to research by Thomas and Collier, I'm going to skip some of this data. We have a lot of it you can find on the website, CalistogaAssociatedTeachers.org. But I'm going to go to the first relevant slide here. According to research by Thomas and Collier, EL students in two-way immersion programs can be expected to close the achievement gap in later years, starting in 5th or 6th grade. However, when we look at CASP data for students who've ever been identified EL, we are not seeing dual immersion students doing better than our students here in Calistoga. We found English proficiency scores on the state CAST test for over 100 dual immersion schools in California. And when we look at 5th grade scores, our 43% proficiency rate is almost twice as high as the 24% average proficiency rate we're seeing for dual immersion schools with student populations similar to ours, which in this case is 10% lower or higher than our Hispanic population and our SED, economically disadvantaged population. In fact, our students are doing better on the state test than 97% of similar Spanish dual immersion schools that we can find in California. We were able to find only one that was more proficient. Some have argued that it takes more time to see results. So we looked at 8th grade scores, and we can't find a single dual immersion school in the state of California with a higher proficiency rate than Calistoga Junior Senior High. The same is true for the highest grade level tested, 11th grade. There are a very small number of high school dual immersion programs that we could find due to the numerous difficulties of executing and maintaining a dual immersion program all the way through high school. But out of the ones we can find, not a single school with similar demographics to ours is showing better achievement in English or math for these students. Clearly, we are doing something right. While there's still room for improvement, we're beating the odds for these students. Some people don't seem to understand why test scores even matter. But according to research, they absolutely do. Research shows that academic difficulties, as indicated by low test scores, are predictive of behavior problems, including internalized behaviors like depression and anxiety, as well as externalized behaviors such as classroom disruptions and bullying. What is worse is that research also shows that these sorts of behaviors in turn negatively impact academics and test scores. In other words, lower test scores could cause a downward spiral and a vicious cycle of both declining academic performance and worsening behaviors. Calistoga Associated Teachers are going to voice concerns about any action that may not only lower test scores, but also lead to problems with emotional well-being or safety of students. And of course, test scores have an impact on college and career opportunities for students. CAF scores have been found to be predictors of college admission rates and success. Only 4% of University of California students didn't meet proficiency on the state tests. Additionally, these test scores can be used by CSU schools, the Cal State schools, to predict college readiness and determine which level of math and English courses incoming students are placed into. We've been told that a big benefit of dual immersion would be that students can earn a seal of biliteracy, and that this contributes to the college and career portion of the California School Dashboard. While that's truly a great achievement, it's something that our students can already do in Calistoga schools. In fact, up to 37% of students have achieved this honor in recent years at the junior senior high school. And our college and career readiness is already high. We have the highest admission rates in Napa County for Hispanic students, and we are scoring green for high performance on the California dashboard. We keep hearing that we aren't meeting the needs of our English learners, but as you can see, we're on the right track and truly beating the odds. The California School Dashboard shows that our students at Calistoga Elementary School are making better progress than in any of the dual immersion schools I've heard mentioned in school board meetings. As you can see, this is not about change is hard or change is scary. Our concerns come from the fact that Calistoga Associated Teachers care about equity and representation, about the emotional well-being of students, about the safety and security of students, and about their future college and career opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Any questions?
No, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
No, no problem. Just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, since the beginning of discussion of dual immersion has come to fruition, we have heard Calistoga Associated Teachers is strongly opposed. To play devil's you disagree?
Well, when I give the report for the poll, there was nobody that said yes, let's do it. But there were a lot that said they had questions and concerns, and that's what we're listening here. It's not all the concerns are opposition. Some of them are concerns that would need to be answered. So just to clarify.
Okay, well, that's the first time I've heard it explained that way, so I appreciate you saying it that way. To play devil's advocate, do you see any positives to dual immersion?
But yes, and we discussed those positives quite a bit at the forum night. Obviously, like we said, being bilingual is an asset. That's a positive potential outcome of it right there. Learning another language. I chose to learn Spanish myself when I was in high school. We had Spanish or French, multiple languages offered, but particularly in the United States, I saw it as a real practical language to learn.
And then also offering this presentation in Spanish is incredible so that all of our student body families are able to understand it and read it. But isn't it interesting to understand that then the parents can read it, but then the students wouldn't be able to understand it? Is that an interesting way to think about it? That you are providing it in both languages already.
Do we have data on how many students can understand it? We've had parents come through second, third generation in Calistoga requesting Spanish translation services from Spanish to English. And these are kids that have graduated from our schools and have their own children in our schools now. And they are actually requesting English translation services. So clearly there's a significant portion that are retaining it. So I didn't know if we have numbers about that.
Well, I don't have them off the top of my head, but I want to commend you for offering it in Spanish because I think it is very important for all of the information to be spoken in both languages so that everybody can be on the same page. So I appreciate you doing that.
Right. And I actually have a question for the board. I don't know if we have, I don't know what kind of translation services are offered for the board meetings, like when they're being streamed on the YouTube and stuff. I was thinking about that. That's why I presented one of my previous reports in Spanish so that it could be streamed, but it is very time consuming. So I didn't know if
We're
service
working.
is being offered.
Yeah, we're working on that because we need to actually have somebody be here. And so we're trying to figure out how to partner, hopefully with Up Valley, to have somebody that will do live translation. Because in some of the instances where we translate, Ms. Cortez Caldera translates, and it's very difficult to be facilitating a board meeting and to translate at the same time. And oftentimes things are missed and the full translation is not given and lost in translation happens.
Right.
And that's unfortunate because it's really, language is important, words are important.
And there are some people, and unfortunately I don't have this opportunity, some people are not literate in any language. And so just having a written format is also challenging for some.
I do have a clarifying question based on a statement you just made, and I just want to make sure that I heard it correctly. you're saying that you have parents that are second and third generation parents within Calistoga, meaning they and their parents went to school here.
Mhm.
Their parents went to school here, they went to school here, their children now go to school here. And
There's parents and there's students, yes.
yes. And they still are using Spanish as the dominant language and they're requesting things to be given to them in Spanish?
Correct, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, there are some, yeah.
Okay.
And any other questions?
I just want to add that in regards to translations and interpretation at the board meetings, on top of the agenda, and we have a disclaimer that say that if you need translation, you can request it. So, I want to make sure that everybody understand that we are not trying not to provide it. It's just available by request because it is expensive to hire someone to be in the meetings every time and not use that person.
Right. And we're a very
So-
small district. But I guess my point is, I agreed with Laurel. I do think we are a biliterate or at least bilingual community. And so it is important. I agreed with that.
Yeah, the other thing that quiero decirle, señor Gudinius, es que todo este research que usted nos está presentando, eso es precisamente lo que el distrito está buscando. Colaboración de los maestros, colaboración de los padres de familia para tomar la mejor decisión posible para los estudiantes y presentar la información de una manera clara, sin negatividad, sin agresividad y sin estar inventando cosas que no son. No hemos tomado una decisión todavía, que quede bien claro. Estamos en el proceso de agarrar toda la información posible para tomar la decisión y precisamente para eso les estamos pidiendo a ustedes la colaboración. Esto que nos acaba de presentar es muy valuable porque lo podemos utilizar para tomar una decisión informada en este proceso.
Sí, gracias, entiendo.
So basically what I'm saying is that I appreciate this presentation, and this is precisely what the district have been asking: collaboration with the teachers, with the staff, with the community, with the parents to make the best informed decision in a way that we are collaborating, that we are open-minded to find the solution, and it should be in a positive way, without negativity, without judgment, and without, running to make conclusions, because we are not there yet. And I really appreciate that you are presenting this information and we can use it.
Yes, thank you. And I feel like we are moving in a good direction. So I appreciate that you're listening. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you again for the report, and thank you all for the discussion. 7.3, Classified School Employees Association.
No report.
No report, okay. 7.4, Director of Facilities, Maintenance and Operations.
Hello, everyone. So right now, a lot of our projects are in state review, whether with the Division of State Architects or Department of State Architects or California Geological Survey or our CEQA process. So I'm just going to run down what we've got going on right now. One thing that's moving along really good is the STEM building. We're in the middle of putting up windows, installing drywall, finishing drywall, painting rooms. It's all just kind of sweeping through. So I think that's going to be here before we know it. Our fields are currently both, the plans are both with DSA as well as CGS, which is the California Geological Survey. They go through concurrently, but DSA won't approve final until CGS is signed off. So right now, we're just fielding their questions and trying to get through that process. Same with the TK building at the elementary school. DSA has been submitted, CGS has submitted. Currently, we're just kind of working out logistics because it's going to be a pretty big impact on summer school in the school year. So we're just trying to figure out how we're going to do the project with the least impact on the students. Our generators are currently in review, permit review with the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. That's kind of a long process. Well, so So is DSA. So I think it was 10 weeks. We should probably start getting some feedback from them. We are in DSA review as well on classroom conversions. So with the new STEM building coming up, we have some classrooms at the high school that are getting vacated. So we've got 3 science classrooms that are getting vacated. We got another room that we want to convert. So we've got 3 classrooms we're going to put into standard classrooms at this point. One classroom that's going to be a SDC class with a little more life skills ability than we have right now. Small kitchen, laundry room, stuff like that. So yeah, we're just waiting to hear back from DSA. I imagine around March, April, we'll be able to start to hit the ground. The district office conversion was done, turned out really well. Looking forward to getting that business person in to help that department out. And then we recently interviewed with multiple furniture reps to start standardization for our district. We narrowed it down to 2, real close on picking one. From there, the next steps will be to facilitate feedback from the staff, committee, possible pilot programs in classrooms to see how new furniture works out. So once we have that all together, we'll be coming back to you with a company and some standards so the district can have one type of furniture as opposed to multiple types of furniture. It's a little easier when it's mostly the same. Not everybody's going to use the same furniture. It's going to be grade level or grade. I forget the term they used.
Span. Grade span.
Span. Yeah. Exactly. So that's it for now. Any questions on what's going on?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Okay, so 7.5, Director of Educational Services and Human Resources.
All right, I've got a brief report for you tonight. We'll start off with some work we've been doing around a staff wellness initiative. I think I shared before when we brought a contract that forward that there's the CalHope grant, which is a state dollars to support wellness. These used to go to the County Office of Education, and this year the county has kind of passed those through to districts to do with what we will. And we've planned 3 sessions, 3 wellness sessions for our staff, one in January, one in February, and one in March. And just to say that, staff wellness is an important and worthy endeavor. And there's lots and lots of benefits when our staff are healthy and well. It betters our ability to work with students, to work with one another as we collaborate, to be flexible and to adapt to change, and then staff retention, job satisfaction, and preventing burnout. And we've been working with Educators Thriving to plan these sessions, and they're a great group to work with. They're based out of the Bay Area. They're partners with California Labor Management Initiative, which is a group we've been working with. They're partners with Napa County Office of Education. They were recently highlighted by the U.S. Department of Labor, and they're really starting to have a nationwide impact. So it's really, they're a great partner to work with. And so we've been planning, and then we had our first session, and you never know if people are going to show up, right? I was thinking 8 to 12 staff members, that would be a good goal. It's after school. We had over a third of our staff attend. So it was amazing. Over 30 staff members were there,
Nice.
Classified, certificated, administrative staff. And I think it just shows that there's a need for this work, and it's work that people want, right? It's something that people need and are willing to lean into. So very excited about the turnout, and very excited about our next 2 sessions, and then ultimately, the work, the impact the work will have. Also share that I had the opportunity to attend the AXA Every Child Counts conference a couple weeks ago. I had never been to that before. I went with 3 of our special educators from the district, and it was amazing. It was very well organized, very well attended. There were probably at least 2,000 people there, attendees. It was very large. It was one of those conferences where there's so many great sessions every time slot. It's hard to pick, right? But it was great, and it reminded me of what Stephanie said at our last board meeting about CSBA, where there's something very special and moving about being somewhere with a large group of people that have a common cause, right? And in this case, we're talking about supporting students with exceptional needs. So to see thousands of educators who are passionate about that work, want to learn more about how to do that work. It was really a great experience, and I think certainly a good use of district resources. So I want to thank the board for supporting professional learning this year. And then lastly, just share quickly that our summer school planning group convened, I think it was last week, and started our planning for the summer program. And I think we're going to be looking at something that's pretty similar to last summer's program. Each year we kind of refine it a little bit. We get feedback, where can we do a little bit better and make some small changes, but I think it's going to be a real similar program. I think Chris just mentioned it. We are going to have some pretty significant construction this summer again, so we'll have to figure out how to make the program work within those constraints, but we'll make it work. And I'll keep the board updated as we get closer to summer, but that process of planning has begun. And that's my report for tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for Michael? Thank you, Michael. And that brings us to 7.6, Superintendent.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Happy 2025. Happy January. So I wanted to report on a couple things. One is that I had shared at the beginning of the year that the entire admin staff and their executive assistants or secretaries is going through a training called Breakthrough Coaching, which is meant to help us streamline our work, and specifically for our principals as well as myself, is to be in classrooms more often and to be seen where the work is actually happening with the students in the classrooms. And so we did it all over in the fall, but myself, as well as both principals and our secretaries, are attending a monthly webinar series, which continues through the end of this year. So every month we'll have 8 sessions, 1 session each month. It doesn't make sense. Okay, there's 7 sessions, sorry. It's like, we are not in this till August, we're in it till June. I apologize. But we had our first session this morning. It's anywhere from 1 hour and 15 minutes to 1 hour and a half. And we partner with our executive assistant and secretaries, and we are refining the work that we're doing. They give us homework and we'll do check-ins as we go. So today's topic was reminding us of what this work is, as well as what an impeccable office looks like for an executive. And that means that we're not tacticians, and that means that we are supposed to have empty offices with a conference room table. And so it's a work in progress for some of us. So I did want to share, though, that it is good work because it will help us to be out on campuses, in classrooms more, supporting our staff, supporting our students, and seeing how what work is actually happening. Just a reminder that next week is the annual superintendent's conference. So I'll be out of town from Monday afternoon through Friday. This year it's back in Monterey. I'm really looking forward to it because there's a lot of good topics, especially in January, as we think about what the budget is going to look like for the year, what we think about new laws that are coming into place that have an impact on education. And it also gives us an opportunity to kind of connect with our colleagues and rejuvenate ourselves as we work towards the remainder of the school year. We're also sending a team from the high school to Texas for another 3 days for Transcend. So they leave Monday morning and they come back Wednesday evening to continue the work. And then we will share in February how that work is going. We're continuing to investigate workforce housing. So I'm still having conversations with our consultant that we hired. We're having conversations with the city on what this could possibly look like. And I'm hoping that we will have a recommendation to the board in the next few months on next steps. I am excited to share that our MIT students were asked by MIT to submit an application to South by Southwest for the student invention portion of South by Southwest, and they were selected as one of 5 schools in the nation to be represented at South by Southwest. So myself and Mr. Burbank will be taking 5 of our juniors to Austin, March 7th through the 10th. And they will do a table setup of their invention, and fingers crossed they will be the winners, and we will find that out on Monday the 10th. Yes, please give a round of applause to our students. So that leads me to my next request, which is we had originally scheduled, because I thought I was going to be out of town on March 3rd. I'm not. I'm going to be out of town on March 10th, and so I'm hoping that we can move the March board meeting back to March 3rd, which is what it traditionally should have been set at.
I never moved it in my calendar.
That's great. Set for March 3rd. Great. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is somewhat in relationship to what Iris talked about in terms of our families. Up until now, we have created an environment that is safe for our families and safe for our students. And we have policies in place that make it safe for our kids to come to school. We want our families to know that their children can come to school and they will be safe and they will be at school until they're released to their families. There have been other schools that have brought a resolution to the table called a Safe Schools Resolution. Many of the things that are outlined in the resolution are laws that we already uphold, but this is something that I wanted to ask the board about me bringing to our next board meeting as an item for you to discuss and decide if you want to approve the resolution as a form to show our families that we have opportunities for them to be safe. We believe in keeping their children safe, and that we will continue to do that work.
Yeah, in the previous, in 2016 to 2018, we did had a resolution as well in regards to protecting our families and protecting the children.
And there, yes. Okay, so then I will go back and look at that resolution and then make any adjustments. And then I'll bring it as a draft for the board to read and decide if they want to approve. Okay, that's my report.
Questions? Anyone? Okay.
I just have a continuation on that topic. At Valley Family Centers is going to be organizing Know Your Rights presentations. We already did one in December. So our focus is to give information to the community in general about what are their constitutional rights, and also to give information for parents on how to be prepared in case of an immigration emergency. I believe we also going to be presenting to the faculty in regards of, what is the information that we are sending out. We're going to be talking to students, and we had the collaboration from the police department. The police department is willing to come with us and, be present to reassure the community that we will do whatever it takes to keep the community safe as much as possible. So more to come. We're going to be distributing flyers and information on that.
Yes, so if you can give us a flyer, we can push that out to our families as well. Okay.
Oh, great. Okay, that brings us to item 8, the consent agenda, which requires a roll call vote. The 8.1 consent agenda protocol. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, the audience, or staff request specific items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. So the request is to approve the consent agenda as presented, so I'm looking for a motion. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we proceed to the roll call vote. President Rothberg Allen is absent. Clerk Reed, aye. Trustee Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Lopez Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Rios? Aye. And the student representative, Kenya Clavel, is absent. All right, that brings us to agenda item 9, action items. 9.1, action item protocol. Protocol for action items includes a staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time limit per person. 9.2, acceptance of 2023-2024 audit.
So I am Maureen Hester and a representative from Christy White tonight. So I am presenting the audit for 23-24, which goes from July 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2024. So this is a report on the audit of the financial statements on behalf of an independent auditor, which is Christy White. They have audited the accompanying financial statements of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information for Calistoga Joint Unified School District for the time that I stated, and the related notes to the financial statements, which collectively comprise our basic financial statements. In their opinion, the financial statements referred to are presented fairly in all material respects. The respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information, and the respective changes in financial position for the year then ended in accordance with the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. And they conducted their audit in accordance with auditing standards. They partnered with our team, Maureen and the business office team, as well as a portion from HR with Melinda, and then Cynthia from the superintendent's office. They're always grateful for our team because we respond quickly. We're very easy to work with. All documents that they request are very easy to find and upload. And we're excited to yet again report that they have 0 findings.
Wonderful.
So I'm asking the board to accept the 23-24 audit as presented.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So 9.3, the 2024-25 consolidated application.
So this is used by the California Department of Ed to distribute categorical funds from various state and federal programs to county offices, school districts, and direct funded charters. Bless you. We have applied for Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV funding for the 24-25 school year. This second consolidated application reporting period certifies all of our federal program expenditures from the 22-23 fiscal year through the first half of 2024, and that needs to be done in order for us to qualify for the next round. We will receive approximately $179,000 in federal funding through this application process. So we're asking that you approve the application as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, 9.4, Resolution 242508, authorizing filing of applications for state allocation, board administered facility hardship and/or facility hardship seismic mitigation programs.
It's a lot. So this resolution authorized our district to file applications for funding and eligibility determinations under the State Allocation Board administered facility hardship and seismic mitigation programs. It mandates the district to submit a 5-year school facilities master plan as a condition of program participation in compliance with specific ed code requirements that went into effect October 31st. So we have a current 5-year plan. We're in the process of redoing it, but our current one stands. And then when we get the draft and the new template, then we will present the new 5-year plan to the board. But this resolution is necessary in order for us to actually file applications with the state allocation board. So we're asking the board to approve the resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
9.5, Resolution 242509, authorizing filing of applications for state allocation board administered programs.
So the previous one was specifically for facility hardship and for seismic mitigation. This is just for state allocation board administered programs. So the resolution authorizes us to actually file the applications for funding and eligibility under the administered programs, including the school facility program. This is also tied to Prop 2, which just passed in November, which will allow us to get in line for matching funds, which we do qualify for, but we cannot receive the funds or apply for it without this resolution. So we're recommending that you approve the resolution as presented.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
9.6, Notice of completion for CES Riverbank Restoration.
So this is just a notification of completion that the district is telling the contractor you've done what you said you were going to do in the contract, and we can close out their contract. This particular contractor will keep working with us. They've been working with us since 2017 because as part of the permitting process, we have monitoring and maintenance that needs to be done for, I believe it's 5 years. So a lot to be done there. And that's not to be confused with like a DSA notice of completion. This is just the district saying, thank you, you've done what we asked you to.
Great. Okay. And staff recommends approval of the request to file notice of completion for CES Riverbank Restoration.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 9.7, notice of completion for CES classroom modernization.
This is the exact same thing, but for the project that we did over the summer for the modernization at the elementary school.
And again, staff recommends approval of the request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 9.8, lease amendment number 1 for CJSHS field improvements.
All right, so FRC was picked as our leaseback contractor. The board approved them, but they approved the leaseback without an exact dollar amount. This is the first amendment to that so that we can start ordering the long lead items like bleachers and scoreboard and turf and stuff like that. So.
Okay. And again, staff recommends approval of the lease amendment as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you have a comment?
Oh, this makes me so happy.
It's gonna be great.
So happy. Oh
Thank you,
my
Chris.
God.
Okay. Okay. 9.9, board policies and administrative regulations.
So these are the policies and regulations that we brought for a first read last month. As a reminder, they are the result and changes to law with no discretionary changes by the district. We bring them back again for final approval.
So the request is to approve the board policies and administrative regulations as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
If I can turn the page, that brings us to closing items. Item number 10. 10.1, board reports. Anyone have anything they'd like to share? No? Okay. All right, 10.2, board meeting calendar. Monday, February 3rd is our next scheduled meeting. Here with closed session starting at 5, open session at 6. This reads Monday, March 10th is the following meeting, but we just changed that to March 3rd. And Monday, April 14th is the following meeting. Item 10.3, tentative future agenda items, the Williams quarterly report. Item 10.4, reconvene to closed session if necessary. There is no need. Item 10.5, report of action, if any, taken in closed session. None. 10.6, adjourn meeting. The recommended action is that we adjourn the meeting. Any?
So moved.
All right.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
That was easy.
Michael, you really missed out.